Okay, here we go. This is for Algebra 1, 2.3, multiply and divide real numbers. Okay, so let's start out by writing a couple of these notes in your margins here. So we've got anytime, this is for our multiplication and division, so anytime we are multiplying or dividing two negatives, the answer is going to be a positive. So a negative number times a negative number equals a positive number. Okay, another way I like to say this is if the signs are the same, the answer is positive. If the signs are different, the answer is negative. Okay, so pause the video if you need to, write those notes down in your margin, and we'll get started. All right, so the first one here, this should look pretty familiar to us. This is just 3 times 5. And like I said before, the signs are the same, so the answer is positive. We got positive 15. Let me get this a little bit smaller here. Here we go. All right, next one. We have negative 3. There's no symbol in between, right? So we know that means multiply. So this is negative 3 times negative 5. So the signs are the same. The answer is positive. Okay? All right, now we have positive 3, negative 5. Okay, so this is, the signs are different. The answer is going to be negative. All right, and here's the inverse of that. So if we have negative 3 times positive 5, again, the signs are different, so the answer is negative. All right, let's see. The next one, really, it's just calculator work here, guys. Positive 7.4 times negative 2.5, we're just going to get a negative answer, which is negative 18.5. Okay, and the next one here, we got negative 2/5 times positive 3/4. So we should know that the answer is going to be negative because our signs are different. Punch this into the calculator using your N over D key, and you should get, well, actually, let's, just to show you, let's just multiply this straight across, right? With multiplication, we don't need common denominators, so we can just go straight across. So we can go 2 times 3, which is 6, and 5 times 4, which is 20. And we know that the sign, we have one negative, one positive, so the answer is negative, so we get negative 6/20. We need to reduce that down. They're both even, so we can cut those in half, and we get negative 3/10. Okay, so just a little review of multiplying fractions, but of course you can use your calculator on that. All right, so we got a fraction times a whole number. We could just do 4 times, or look at that as like 4 over 1. Then you multiply straight across and you get 16 over 5. Signs are different, answer is negative. Okay? We could also call this negative. How many times does 5 go into 16? Well, 5, 10, 15, right? So it goes in there 3 whole times, right? And then there's 1 left over. We could also have negative 3 and 1/5. Okay? All right, moving on. Here we go. This is a negative times a negative, so I know the answer is going to be positive. If you did want to do this longhand, you could just convert this to an improper fraction and just go 1 times 4, right? We multiply these and we add the top. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7, 7 over 4, and then we know the answer is negative. Then we can multiply this by negative 4/3. And so we know our answer is going to be positive. We're going to get negative 28 over 12. Sorry. We know the answer is going to be positive because we got two negatives. So we're going to get 28 over 12. We could simplify this if we wanted to. We know that 12 can go into 28 2 times because we get to 24. And then there'd be 4 left over. So we can write that like this. We can further reduce this down because 4 and 12 they're the same. So we can pull out the least common multiple, and we can call this 2 and 1/3. Okay. Okay, so that's just to show you how to do it longhand if you wanted to. If you just type this into the calculator straight up right here, you're going to get the same answer. It might just give you this answer simplified, which would be 7/3. But again, 7/3 turns into 2 1/3. So you get the same thing. There's multiple answers that are correct. It's just the fraction, decimal, mixed number, whatever you want to write. Okay, moving on. We're going to have some more absolute value questions. So let's see if we have 10 minus 20 in the absolute value bars, and then multiply by 3. Just remember these absolute value bars are a grouping symbol, so we need to solve inside there first. Okay, so we have 10 minus 20, that's negative 10. It's still in the absolute value bars, and then we need to go ahead and solve this first. What is the absolute value of negative 10? It is always positive, so it is positive 10, right? Absolute value always positive. And we get 10 times 3 is 30. All right. And just like we were doing last time, we just need to simplify under here before we take the square root. So 3 times 12 is 36. And now we can take the square root of 36, which is 6. Okay. All right. Commutative property of multiplication. So this is, so commutative property, you might remember that from addition. This is just A times B equals B times A, right? So if we had 4 times 5, we get the same answer if we do 5 times, oops, I wrote 4, 5 times 4, right? Order doesn't matter. That's basically what commutative property is saying. Order doesn't matter. All right. Associative property also applies for multiplication. So if we have A times B times C and A times B times C, if these are grouped first versus these two grouped first, we're going to get the same answer. So let's show an example of that. If we do, let's do 3, 4, and 5, and 3, 4, and 5. So if these are grouped first, we're going to get the same answer as if these were grouped first. Okay, so if I do 3 times 4, which is 12, and then multiply by 5, I get 60. Okay, I should get the same answer over here. 4 times 5 is 20, times 3 is 60. Okay, so there we go. That checks out. So associative property and commutative property apply to multiplication and addition. All right, so I think I'm going to stop this video here and we'll look at dividing integers in the next video.